Good morning.
You there live on air as I call you so.
Oh.
You there comfortable to talk to me? Abi, you go end the call, make I call you back. Abi, you go call back.
Oh my God, this is ordinary president, right?
Yes,
Your
ma'am.
voice.
Yes, ma'am. Distinguished Senator, ma'am.
I had. Okay, I'm actually confused. You've just taken me unawares.
Sorry.
But I just didn't want to speak about this. I've turned down a lot of interviews and requests from television stations, but I have utmost respect for you.
Oh my goodness.
And the good work you're doing, and I might just have to respond safely if they're not too direct. I don't know how to say, but anyway, go ahead, please.
This is just for you to address the world.
Oh my God.
Simple. We are not asking you any question. It's for you to address the world.
Okay. Senate President, Assistant President, Ordinary President, thank you so much for calling me. My attention was drawn that you were actually speaking about the issue on your program today. So thank you so much for your concern. But the thing is, there are certain rules in the chambers that whatever I speak of in the Senate can't be used against me. That means I can't be sued.
But outside?
But if I make any utterances, considering the fact that I am facing a lot of harassment, I have been going through a lot, and I have remained quiet because I didn't want to be interpreted wrongly. I didn't want any lawsuits against me. I just wanted to be given a chance to work. A lot of my privileges have been denied. I have been pulled out from many international activities that I was part of. That is right after that whole nightclub incident that happened last year.
Yes.
Ever since then, I have been issued. There was even a United Nations event I was supposed to attend, which the UN nominated me for. But my name was struck out that they will not promote me in any activity internationally. Okay. So every event I have been going for since last year have been self-sponsored. Whenever I feel an international event is of importance to my constituents, to Nigerian women, to Nigeria, I buy my tickets myself and I fund my trips myself. I just don't speak about it. So I have been going through a lot. So yesterday was just that changing my seat was more of a chance of silencing me or alienating me from being seen. Sitting arrangements is very critical. Like when the nearer you sit, positions you closer before the camera and gives you an added advantage to be called upon to contribute to debates. But the seat I was now, ordinarily, I'm already sitting at the very back. If you see me, I'm sitting at the last seat just before the door. But then I was now moved suddenly without notice, without any information. My seat was moved to the far corner, a part where the cameras don't capture. Like if you sit over there, the cameras you won't even be captured. Nobody will even, except maybe they zoom out and they get to see you there. You will just easily be missing out. You can raise your hands up and nobody will call you. So that is why I said, no, I don't want to move to that seat. I wasn't notified. You understand? This is not a classroom. You can't just push me around. And there are other senators. There are 109 of us. Why is it me? Why do I have to move there? Why me? Just 2 weeks ago, I was removed from a committee from local content. I was moved from there because some people perceived that I was using that office to divert resources from the Niger Delta to the north. And that was not it. We have the Jakarta-Kaduna-Kano pipeline, which is going to be completed by the second quarter of this year, and we need feed gas for that. And the wake of, Nigeria is now positioning itself to be more productive, industrialization is picking up. So the factories up north, like other parts of Nigeria, will need greater electricity supply. And now we have CNG vehicles being converted to CNG. We need there will be a number of CNG stations across the north and every other part, like other parts of Nigeria. We need feed gas to service all of these spots. And it was even the president that assented to the executive order. So how does that, why picking on me? Like, basically, I'm not going to mention names specifically, but there's a whole lot going on. And all I would just say is, I appreciate Nigerians for standing up. I have been going through a lot, but I will not mention names.
It's okay.
But, and in due time, if it depends on how things go, in due time, I might have to come up personally to speak on everything.
Thank you very much.
I know that right now they are planning my suspension. If I'm suspended, fine. It will not stop me from doing my work wherever I can. Do you understand? I have a number of projects in line, and I will keep serving my people. I'll keep being a voice.
Thank you very much.
Do you understand?
Thank you.
And I will keep being a law-abiding citizen. So I did not speak out of order. He was reading my suspension, and I had to invoke Order 10, which is an order of privilege, which meant instead of suspending me, if you find me faulty in any area, send me to face the Ethics and Privileges Committee, almost like a panel. That was what I did. I had to invoke that order, which was a right of every senator who felt their rights were being infringed upon. That was what I did. If I had not done that, I would have been suspended on the floor. So I had to say that to prevent the suspension at that point. But I'm aware that there are still plans on the way to suspend me. And if I'm suspended,
don't worry.
it's okay.
Distinguished Senator Natasha.
Yes, sir.
The whole world is watching now.
Thank you.
After this conversation with you, we will put a call across to the Senate President and hear his own side of the story. But I want to assure you that the masses are with you on this matter.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate distinguished Senator Natasha. Senate President. We will call the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Distinguished Senator, my name now Ordinary Ahmad Isa of the Human Rights Radio and Television. We did live on air, distinguished Senator, sir. Senate President, sir. Here in the call.
In the wake of all that drama, an old video surfaced online showing the then Senator Godswill Akpabio flouting the Senate standing order under the Saraki-led Senate. In the video, Akpabio insisted on speaking even while he was not permitted to speak by the then Senate President, Bukola Saraki. Let's take a look.
You can go to your seat. Then when you get your seat, I will recognize you.
Next to Senator Kwankwaso, until I was led by the sergeant at arms that this is my seat.
I asked the clerk whether he allocated that seat to you. He said he didn't.
He told me he would prefer to sit here. So I said there is no microphone there, but he said he will still prefer to sit there.
If there's been a senator that have allowed to speak without a microphone, state. That's never happened in this chamber. All we said is there's no microphone where you are. Go to a place where there's one and you can speak. Now you have the floor, speak and let us make progress.
All right, that was then Senator Akpabio there. He wasn't even sitting, he was standing and arguing with Bukola Saraki. He was standing, he wasn't even on the chair. They didn't ask exactly. They didn't say walk him out. Yeah.
I mean, I don't believe in all of these rebuttals by Akpabio's people from his office, from taxpayers' money being paid to them. They are doing their job.
They're doing their job.
What did we see? We saw constant attempts to silence Natasha, which we will not take. And please, for Mr. Akpabio and the likes of his ilk that don't respect women in this country, please remind them that women also fought for this democracy. In case you don't know, you can go and read up on the likes of Gambo Sawaba. Women also got beaten for this democracy. They fought for the nationhood of this country. So we must respect them. Because I've seen a constant attitude. That's why when the senator came here and was trying to defend the indefensible, he did it. In fact, it was because of public outcry, Senator Akpabio had to appeal and apologized to Natasha Akpabio the last time when he said this place is not a beer parlor, it's not a club and things like that. He's done it many times. What's the bone of contention sits here? You can have a tiff as regards sitting positions and all of that. There can be reactions and counter-reaction. But the words uttered by Senator Akpabio by saying, we'll tell the Sergeant of Arms to take you out. Who told them to take him out when he did his? Oh, we'll suspend you. That's the high-handed nature. And that's why I wasn't surprised when the senator came here and says, our father. Who is your father? Our father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Is that it? Is that what the Senate has become? Professor Monzingo, she must be given a right to speak. As she was standing on pre-existing privileges, orders, while she was saying it, just like what Akpabio too stood on. At least let her make her points. And the next thing since yesterday, the media office of Akpabio and his cohorts have been in overdrive, spinning all sorts of stories and bringing them out, you know, trying as much as possible. Why are they on the offensive?
Right.
We must give her a chance to speak. He likes it or he doesn't like it. He must learn how to treat women properly. He likes it or he doesn't like it, and we must reiterate it. I'm not saying you can't have a tiff, but the way you handle it is what will make you different here.
Yeah.
And please, for the sake of balance, I also want Natasha Akpabio, if she can grant us this event, to come and state her own side of the year.
Yeah.
Because it is only one side we've heard favoring Senator Akpabio, a senator coming to speak. Natasha, please, the floor is yours.
The floor is hers.
Come on this show, probably Abuja next week. State your own side of the story.
Right.
We must speak up for women.
Yeah.
And this is ongoing. This has been on for quite a while.
It has.
And enough of it.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time.
Abba.
Yeah, she was
down with it.
Very good. She was not allowed to read from the Senate rules book at that point. I mean, I'm getting comments from people saying that at the end of the clip I played before, Akpabio apologized to Saraki. I don't know what difference that made, because he actually was not sitting on his rightful seat, and he was challenging, his lawmakers at the same time, all because of the sitting arrangements. I mean, Ayo.
Besides, the tone and manner in which Senate President Saraki handled that matter was vastly different from his.
From his, yeah?
There was no point at any time where the sergeants of arms were called in to walk him out, or where he was told that he would, and he wasn't given an audience to speak. In fact, he had the opportunity to stand up, and this was what we're trying to drive home. Yes, you can say that, oh, she should have gone to her seat, but she also was trying to establish a point, and that was what I was saying to the deputy chief whip who came earlier today, saying that she wasn't given an opportunity to speak. And that is where there was an evidence of bias there, whether you agree with it or not. That she also talked about how she had been maligned a number of times, where she would raise her hands and she wouldn't be recognized by the Senate. These are the voices of senators speaking out against what they see as discrimination, especially, and I hate to do that, play the female, this woman senator card. We often talk about bringing more women into politics, but when they make the you know how she got here. You know how her road was blocked, the fight against the governor, Yahaya Bello, everything that happened. So this is not a woman who got there easily. And then she gets there after fighting, and then she goes through hell trying to establish herself. And people are saying that. In fact, I will see rubbish comments like, doesn't she have a husband? And what has marriage got to do with her business in the Senate? What has the fact that she's a woman got to do with her business in the Senate? So whether we like it or not, there are cultural nuances based on this, with regards to she's a woman, why she being like, she's new, doesn't she know how to behave? They say that nice girls don't get the corner office, and this is what Senator Natasha unfortunately has to prove. We've seen it in other parliaments around the world where women had to assert themselves. How many female senators' voices do we hear in this current House of the Senate? I hope that the Senate President would leave a legacy of enabling equity and fairness across board. I can almost bet that if it were someone else, he probably would have been treated with better respect. Yes. And so I think voices, whether you're a woman or man, should rise up in defense. She's a woman, she's a mother, she's a daughter, it could be anyone you know to speak about this. And let me just say as well that when it comes to suspension, during Ali Ndume's case, the judge ruled that it's the people, his constituents, that voted him in. And if you suspend a sitting senator, you deprive that senatorial district from having a voice in a representation. Right. Because what could happen is that even though they're not suspended, they will seal her office and really intimidate her. We must push against that.
Absolutely.
Kogi Central deserves to have its voice there, and that voice in the Senate is Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan. Whether you like it or not, she's there to stay, and we are very proud of her.
The lady must be heard.
All right,
the lady must be heard.
Professor Anthony Killer, I actually enjoyed your submission at the end of, the news headlines where you talked about decorum. And that is really the crux of the matter. And that's really what needs to be done at the floor of
And
the
that's a
Senate.
very important thing. Let's be very clear. Akpabio is not Saraki. There's a lot of things.
Sub or something.
Oh, it's a statement.
let's just leave it.
Akpabio is
You have
not
to throw
Saraki.
this sub. You have to throw this sub.
Let's just leave that at
I
that.
can't relax, Oji. That's a sub. In fact, I'm speaking for Akpabio now.
But the point here that we need to make, though, is that there's something about Nigerian politicians that they turn one to somebody who goes left and right because they all do odd things, not to use another word. I repeat, there should be less drama and more action than our
more
legislators.
action.
It is wrong. By the way, today is 28th of February. It's 2 weeks to 8th of March. I will advise Akpabio, if his media people are going around, to, from now, order 1,000 mimosas, and on the 8th of March, to send it to 1,000 women, 774 from each local government, a bit to Abuja, and a bit to some selected places. That's how I got my 1,000 number. So I've even done the...
You've done the math.
The maths and the,
Yes.
and the slotting for him. It is a very dangerous thing to 2025 to be termed as misogynist. It is so archaic, it is so uncool, it is so everything you can think of. And I think whether Akpabio is misogynist or not, if there is a risk that is being perceived as misogynist, he should quickly work against it. Now, to the women in Senate and in politics general, I think the time has come for them to set themselves a quote-unquote hidden agenda to say, I am going to go into that room and I'm not going to be a bimbo. And I believe they should earn it. And I also think that, this is what I tell my daughters, and I also think that voters, if they care about gender inclusion, if they care about equality, they should punish and reward people who act one way or the other against equality. There should be a bias. There's enough women vote in this country, in the world, to control men.
All right, well said, Professor Anthony Killer, well said. Well, we'll follow up on the story. Hopefully we'll get Natasha Akpoti's rebuttal. We'll take another story.